and the Megabass S Crank 1.2. And also, guys, I will link every one of these lures in my Tackle Warehouse link in this video description if you guys like to pick one up. But these smaller, shallow running crankbaits like this are a foundational part of my system to catch bass in the summertime. When I'm shallow cranking, this is what I'm looking for. I'm looking for shallow cover, and I'm looking for off-colored water. So my cranking system, when I'm talking about the S-Crank and the Super Z, I'm fishing both of these in the same type of situation. Around shallow rock, around shallow wood. I have caught them around some shallow grass if you have that. But the key element to this is you've got to have water visibility that is less than 2 feet, preferably water visibility that's about 1 foot in clarity. If you don't have that in your lake, the shallow cranking is probably not gonna work that good. But if you do have a lake where you have that type of a situation, I think flies are all over in the tackle room here. We got our chicken coop right outside the door here. Got a lot of flies in here. But you got to have some off-colored water, and you got to have some shallow cover. Now, I've caught them on both rock and wood just as good. So if you've got areas that have shallow wood on there, boat dock pilings, lay down trees, logs stumping the water, you can deflect these little crankbaits off of them. The small crankbaits always work better in the summertime of the year. But one of my favorite ways to catch them is just parallel on a rocky bank. Get on some type of a steeper rocky bank, like a channel bank, bluff bank, chunk rock bank, riprap bank, whatever, if you got that off-colored water, and just try to knock that water depth of about 2 to 5 foot with these. So your line test and everything depends how deep your cover is and how deep you want to go. But that shallow cranking is a really, really good way to catch them. Another way I like to catch them in the summertime is this is frog fishing time. Now, frog fishing is very diverse in the summertime. If you have aquatic vegetation, like matted grass or hydrilla milfoil, something like that, lily pads. Obviously, frog is a really good summer choice over the top of vegetation. But moreover, the way that I fish a frog is fishing it shallow around shady areas in lakes that don't have grass. So one of the best ways to catch them on a frog, and this is that Megabass Big Gabbit frog, guys. This thing is freaking awesome. I'll link that in the description here too. But one of the ways I really catch a lot of bass in the summertime is I'll take a frog and I'll skip it under docks, like under the shady areas of docks, and those fish will be suspended in those shade areas because they're up there feeding on bluegills. I catch a lot of fish around those, especially shallow docks. But any type of shade in shallow water is going to be a good frog habitat. Say, for example, you're in the back of a cove and you've got an overhanging tree that's got a little shade pocket. Throw that frog up in the shade. Throw it next to any shallow cover, just work it side to side like that spook like that, and they will